Good morning. Welcome to Trenton Today on WBCB. We're here at Trenton Central High School, and today's show with Mayor Reed Gussiora, brought to you by Capital Health System. But today, filling in for Mayor Gussiora, we have the Fire Director of the City of Trenton, Kenneth Douglas. We're going to talk a little bit about fire prevention today, about some of the work his department is doing, and check in with some of the students at Trenton Central about what's going on here on campus as well. Today's show brought to you by the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office. Angelo Onifree, proud to support the student athletes and the students here at Trenton Central High School. Thanks also to Haldeman Ford Subaru, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow on Route 33 in Hamilton Township, a proud member of the Greater Trenton community, and Capital Health System, proud to support the city of Trenton. Well, great to be with you again for Trenton Today, but we are without the mayor, but really happy to have Kenneth Douglas with us. Thank you so much for being with us. Ken, what's been going on here since you took over in 2021? You've been busy with the fire department. You came here from Orange County, helping to reduce fires in that area by like 60%, bringing some of those same ideas down here to Trenton. Tell us a little bit about how your day's going so far. Let's start with that.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me, Trenton, today.
It's our pleasure.
It's a pleasure and an honor to be here in Trenton, in the city of Trenton, doing what I do best, and what I love to do is helping communities better protect themselves from the dangers of fire. I would be remiss if I didn't make acknowledgments and thanks the mayor for even making me his fire director and trusting me with his fire department to ensure the fact that the residents of the city of Trenton are getting the best fire safety education and service that they can give. And I appreciate him for even considering me to be his fire director.
Yeah, it's a huge responsibility, and we just appreciate your giving us a little bit of time to share with the community. Again, we'll get into some fire prevention things. We've got a couple of students with us as well. Ulysses Villanueva joining us, and Jess Nazario, a couple of veterans. They've been with us before for Trenton Today. And hey, Jess, congratulations on a recent proclamation you received. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience? And the proclamation was about some of the video work that you do, the way that you keep Trenton connected through the things you do here at Trenton Central and just outside of the school as well.
All right, well, thank you. So my cousin is Jenna Figueroa Kenningbird, so she's the South Ward Council. So basically she had called me a couple days prior, and she said that, you know, she's starting a new thing where she wants to nominate citizens of the city of Trenton, like once a month.
That's
one
great.
or two people, and that's a new thing she's doing. So she honored me, and she honored another gentleman as well. I think I can't remember his name, but he honored him as well. So we went to City Hall. They gave a speech about both of us, and Latinos Merchants Association also awarded us money as well. So I received $500, and the other gentleman received $1,000 from them.
That is awesome.
Whoa.
Well, congratulations on that recognition, and I love it. It's about spreading positivity, highlighting positivity, and people doing positive things in the city of Trenton. So we'll start by congratulating you with that recent proclamation, and congratulations to some new council members now. Kind of an historic makeup of city council with 6 female members of council now that Yaz Gonzalez, Crystal Feliciano, and Jazzy Edwards all have, they won their runoffs. And so now the new city council is complete. They join the 4 other council members, and I hope that it ends up being a little bit more of less deadlock. I know that was one of the things that was pointed to in the last city council, where there was so much contention that really nothing was getting done. So if nothing else, let's hope this new city council will bring an attitude of cooperation and just working to get the best for the city of Trenton and their residents. Ulysses, welcome back to the show. What have you been up to? What's your day looking like today so far?
I'm glad to be back. Thank you. And as of right now, my day's actually pretty good. You know, started a good morning, little jog, breakfast.
All right,
things
Ulysses,
I do.
I'm going to put you on the spot to start the show. We're talking a little fire prevention today. Fire Director Kenneth Douglas with us. Let me ask you, what was one of the first fire prevention or fire safety initiatives you heard about, like as a young person, or what's something you think of when you think of fire safety and if something happens?
Well, when I hear those words, I hear that what I think about immediately is teaching you how to, just in case a fire happens. What I've always heard is that supposedly they teach you about how to get away from it. You know, try not to inhale the smoke in, which is very bad for your health. And then if you can, try to like figure a way out. If not, I've heard that get on the floor, try to like your best to remain calm and everything.
I'll tell you what,
Really-
just with that answer, Ulysses, I'm going to give you an A because that's kind of what I was looking for. That's one of the things that I think a lot of people hear about when they're talking about staying safe during a fire is trying to get low. And Ken, how does that help you stay safe when there's fire around?
Yeah, so fires are big or small as they are, but a small fire that you probably can control in the kitchen, like a pot fire or something like that. Usually, everybody should have beyond a smoke detector, a fire extinguisher in their home, and they can put a fire out like that pretty easily. But if it gets to a point that is seemingly uncontrollable, what we teach is tell everybody to get out and stay out and call 911. We want anybody to assume the fact that they are firefighters, to go and get succumbed by the smoke and end up passing away through the smoke, because that's what usually kills people, is the smoke before the fire. So if it comes down to an uncontrollable fire, something beyond what you feel as a person that you can't control or even put out, just get out, stay out, go outside, call 911, and be accountable for all the personnel in your home. One thing also that we encourage is that make sure you have a home escape plan. If you have multiple levels in your home or you have small children, just make sure the fact that in case of a fire, everybody knows where to go, where to muster to, and where to go outside to meet up. In the event when the fire department comes, at least they have an idea who was or who wasn't in the house, in case it comes a rescue effort and they have to go in and rescue your family member or your loved one.
I think that tip about staying low, staying below the smoke was something that I learned in school when our local fire department came in and talked with us about fire safety. And you mentioned to me before our show, that's something that you guys do a couple of times a year. You go into the local schools and you go through things like if there's smoke around, try to stay down low and get out of the house as soon as possible.
Absolutely. The children in the schools are very impressionable. In the Trenton Fire Department, what we do every year, 2 times a year, we go out to the schools, the public schools, give fire safety education to the students, also with literature also. With this literature, it is our idea, the fact that they take it home to their parents, get all the fire safety initiatives possible to make sure that you understand the dangers of fire and the best way to get out. Also, we have an initiative that we go out to the senior buildings too, our most valuable citizens in the township, so they get the same message. Fire is fluid. We don't know when it's coming, but we want to make sure the message is loud and clear, and the same message to different age groups or to the community, and ensure that we're giving the proper message so they can better protect themselves from the dangers of fire.
Yeah, as fire director, I would imagine you got the inside knowledge sometimes as things are going on. I know Jess often has the inside knowledge of what's going on in the city of Trenton. So had you heard that the boss was in town? Bruce Springsteen, he did some kind of rehearsal at the Cure Arena.
I heard something about it.
Well, a lot
I
of
heard
people
little
heard
bit
it, I guess, because it must have been really loud. That was one of the reports that came out about this Bruce Springsteen. I guess he's getting ready for a tour or something. But as fire director, is that something that you hear about, and are you kind of sworn to secrecy about certain things that are going on around the city, like Bruce Springsteen doing? I think he had like friends and family or something in the building, so they were kind of performing a concert, a rehearsal, dress rehearsal.
For the sake of safety, the fire department, if it's a major event like
You
that,
guys got to be there,
we
right?
have to be informed just to make sure the fact that with the crowd that's going to command, especially at the Cure Arena. So we were very aware of that. Office of Emergency Management, they are a part of it, and especially our police department for the security and protection of those major stars that come in town.
You know, one thing I got for Christmas, it was a discount, it was a deal, and when my eyes get big when I see like something on sale. And so I purchased a propane heater that attaches to the grill and goes outside, right? So it can heat your outdoor space and allow you to enjoy it during colder weather. But I'm wondering if that propane heater is permissible in my local fire laws and stuff. And how would people find out about something like a propane heater that's outdoors, or I mean, even a business now with COVID, right? They had outdoor dining and stuff like that, and they're hooking up these outdoor apparatuses that I imagine could be kind of dangerous.
Well, they are for outside usage, no, not inside. They emit carbon monoxide gases, so you don't want to have a propane heater inside any kind of closed space without ventilation. Years ago, probably in the 70s and 80s, the propane heating was a major thing in most communities, but unfortunately, it caused a lot of fires.
I remember
during
back in the
Yes.
day, for me, not to interrupt you,
Yes.
but we had kerosene heaters.
Kerosene,
that
yep,
that was
yep.
really
That was dangerous.
a big
Very
part of our
Very
how we
dangerous.
stayed warm.
Very dangerous, and I think we shifted away, the community, even the public shifted away from kerosene. Now it's propane, but right now with propane heaters, they have different devices that's more safe. You see some at restaurants in the corners,
Yeah.
outside dining, but they have to be outside, nothing inside.
So how would residents of Trenton find out about those kinds of restrictions, or what types of propane heaters are legal or not legal? Are there different ordinances that they could look at or find on a website or some other access point?
Absolutely. City of Trenton website, look up the fire department access, which should be some information there on that, or just call the fire department, Trenton Fire Department. We have literature, we have classes to better educate the public on what and what not to do. Yes.
Hey, one thing that you brought from Orange when you came down to Trenton, we're talking with Fire Director Kenneth Douglas today on Trenton Today, was a program to help serve meals around the Christmas time. And I know you guys had an initiative in 2021. You did it again this year?
Yes, we did. So the Heroes Holiday Giving it's a two-part initiative in the fall and in the winter time. One part is hot meals given to the less fortunate, in addition to a massive toy drive for all the residents in town. We chose not to do it on Thanksgiving because everything is going on Thanksgiving and people going away, but we do it the week after Thanksgiving, and we serve over 1,500 meals, hot meals, to Trentonians coming out there, coming into the fire department. In addition to that, what we were blessed with surge protectors, in addition to the shower faucets, energy efficient, of course, and light bulbs from Mercer Friends. And along with the meals, we gave them those items too, along with fire safety literature and paraphernalia. Now, following that, 2 weeks after that, a blessing from Toys for Tots. We had received well over 10,000 toys. We had a massive toy grab 2 years straight. And we served over 10,000 toys, gave over 10,000 toys to the residents of less fortunate also. So these two initiatives in the wintertime is definitely a blessing from the fire department to give to the community, give back to the community.
Awesome to give back,
Yes.
but also a way for the community to see you guys and girls and the firefighters that are out there in the community and kind of forge some relationships.
Absolutely. The fire department is more than just us putting wet stuff on red stuff. We're out there actually engaging our community, talking to them. The firehouses are taxpayer buildings, so at any time to come see the firehouse or meet the firefighters, everybody's welcome to do that. Of course, within you don't want to come 12 o'clock at night, but still. But these are city buildings, and we work for the residents. And just for that reason, that you can come anytime. But we want to engage the community. We want to educate the community. The whole objective is about the deliverals and the reduction of fires in the city.
Putting wet stuff on red stuff.
That's right.
The Trenton Fire Department.
We're not the only. That's not our only job, but and we spread ourselves around the city with many other duties and responsibilities that we're holding to the city too.
Hey, we're going to step aside briefly. Before we go, Jess, how about any fire prevention tips that you picked up along the way?
The earliest childhood memory that I can remember is when I was taught. I think the fire department head came over and they stop, drop, and roll. That's the main thing that I remember as a child.
All right, you get an A as well for stop, drop, and roll. We'll talk with Fire Director Kenneth Douglas about that when we return in just a little bit for more of Trenton Today on WBCB.
Hi, Merrill Reese for Capital Health, reminding you that the former St. Francis Medical Center is now Capital Health East, and they still offer a 24/7 emergency department as well as outpatient medical clinic services. To enter the emergency department and outpatient clinic, please use the Burt Avenue entrance. Capital Health, proud to be a partner for better health in our state's capital, Trenton, New Jersey.
Are you a parrot head? Not that kind. That's more like it. If you're this kind of parrot head, don't forget to check out the Denny-O Polka Show every Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon right here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
This is Merrill Reese reminding you that Haldeman Ford Subaru on Route 33 in Hamilton Township is more than just a great place to purchase a new Ford, Subaru, or pre-owned car or truck. Their collision and service centers services all makes and models and specializes in fleet service. Haldeman's Collision Center is renowned for their work. It's a state-of-the-art facility, all insurance accepted, free estimates and loaner cars available, and one of the friendliest staffs around. From small dents to major repairs on any make or model, it's Haldeman Ford Subaru Collision Center, Route 33 in Hamilton Township. They're good! Today's show is being brought to you by Angelo Onifrey in the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office as a public service to the community. Angelo Onifrey urges you to stay involved in your community and to also support the youth of our community. They are tomorrow's future leaders in Mercer County. This message brought to you by the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office, who hope you enjoyed today's show.
Back to Trenton Today as we stop, drop, and roll into another segment with Fire Director Kenneth Douglas. So you said you had something to tell us. During the break, you mentioned there's a little bit more to stop, drop, and roll. Is that something that we should put in, the rear view mirror?
Well, I would say stop, drop, and roll only if you're on fire.
Yes.
So if you're on fire, fire's in your clothes. I mean, you just don't want to stop, drop, and roll and smoke in the building. Okay, there's nothing to put out.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, I understand what the concept. We all understand what the concept is. But unless you're on fire, that's the only reason you stop, drop, and roll. But if it's a fire, you get out and stay out. Find the closest exit. Sure that your loved ones are with you, and get out the building as fast as possible and call 911.
And that stop, drop, and roll, you're smothering the fire. I'm thinking I'm going to get burned by my clothes or something if I roll onto where I'm on fire and stuff.
You might roll into the fire if you stop, drop, and roll with no fire on you. So if you're on fire, your clothes are on fire, anything like that, you stop, drop, and roll to put the fire out.
All right, well, we're talking about fire prevention, about Trenton Central High School here today, and we got a bunch of stuff to get into. I saw that the police are doing a thing where they have a 10-week course. I think it's called the Citizens Police Academy. And so I'm thinking, coming to the show today, wouldn't it be great if they did a Firefighters Academy? And before the show, you kind of indicated that you guys do have a program like that where there's a fire course that people could take to kind of see what you guys go through.
Absolutely. So what we started last summer was the Junior Public Safety Academy. Now, mind you, it doesn't just only accomplish what the firefighters do. I've incorporated EMS and the police department into this. Public safety is fire, police, and EMS. So this is a 7-week academy for ages 12 through 16, children from Trenton. Lasts the entire summer, no cost to the residents. And what they do, they go through a lot of the evolutions of what we do as firefighters, some of the practical exercises, some of the academic exercises. These children actually, at the end of the program, leave with about 7 certificates. 2 of them are related to EMS certifications. You have CPR AD certification. They experience scuba diving, in addition to bloodborne pathogens. Well, that's a CPR certification. That they experience rappelling. So they go through a lot of things that the fire department do, police and EMS. They got to see all equipment, everything that we ride every day, the stuff that we use, and really be in the firehouse with us to see all of it transpires. In addition to that, they go on multiple trips, and one of them, the biggest trip they went on was at the World Trade Center. They actually got to see the 9/11 Museum and also the World Trade Center all the way up top, and the kids enjoyed that.
Is there a certain time of year where fires are more common? Is it like during the holidays when it's really cold weather, people got their heaters on?
Well, I mean, fire is fluid. You can have a lot of fires in the summer or in the winter time. It's always seemingly higher in the winter because people are trying to maintain and keep warm.
Yeah.
And sometimes there is some errors. Maybe your boiler messes up. Electric fires, electric overheating, space heaters is another one. So it's usually in the winter time, so we're always cautious because the winter is the longest month of the year. It starts as early as October and sometime maybe in March, and sometimes extends to April.
Yeah.
So that we always try to concern ourselves with that around the community when we're doing fire education. That's why we go in October before the winter really hits, and after the winter really hits, and we do another fire safety presentation in the spring. So the same message, or maybe a change in message, is given during that time.
And we're so grateful for the work that your department does and people who are trained to go towards these points of danger and situations that everybody else is running away from and getting out of.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we have the Junior Public Safety Academy. So people will better understand, what we do is public safety. And since the fire department, we are, the main educators there, make sure that message is very clear so they can extend that stuff to their families, for their friends, their peers, and so forth and so on. And actually, a big contributor to our academy is the prosecutor's office. So we got this under, so we put this under the prosecutor's office as another public safety initiative. And thank you to Prosecutor Honorary for funding us for the year 2023 with this initiative. And the most appreciative, it's going to help us even bring more children to this academy. We're expecting probably twice the amount of kids this year.
So Jess and Ulysses, when you guys hear about this program, to me, when I heard about like rappelling, I'm like, oh, that's exciting.
Scuba diving.
That raised my eyebrow a little bit. I mean, sometimes the firefighters are asked to go underwater.
Yes, the Delaware is right here, so our rescue team, rescue hazmat team, any kind of water emergencies from anything from the reservoir, the canal, or even the Delaware, we are the ones to respond to that. So we'll have a full scuba diving rescue team that goes out there, so we're fully equipped.
Wow.
Yeah, so hearing that rundown, what was one of the most appealing parts of that program for you guys?
Well, first to begin with, I didn't even know we had a scuba dive. I didn't know we had a scuba team. This is the first time I'm actually hearing about this, and it's actually great. Surprise, like literally.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's actually good now that you mentioned it. You explained it well, so I could understand it. It's actually pretty good. I actually like it now. You said Delaware and what else?
Yeah.
Any kind of waterway, and we actually get called outside the city limits because our reach goes all the way up to Princeton and further out in Mercer County. That's what we respond to. Since Trenton is the largest city in Mercer County, we have a lot of the county our rescue and hazmat team responds to. They're responsible first responders to that.
Amazing.
Those emergencies.
That's amazing, actually. I like it. But sincerely, you caught me so off guard with the scuba team. What about you, Jess?
Yeah. No, I agree. Like the scuba is like the first thing that's like, whoa. And rappelling too, that's also really cool. So my question is like age ranges. So youngest to oldest, what's the ages of kids that can join?
So the youngest is 12, the oldest is 16.
Oh, wow.
It's a big variation, but...
And I
still,
just turned 17, that's crazy.
I might have to give you a waiver.
We'll fit you in the program somehow.
Yeah, we had one child in the program that he was very mature for his age, but he was 11 at the time. So
Oh, wow.
allowed him to pass, and he did very well. He did very well.
So this is over the summer, or you can over the
yes,
summer?
It's free over the summer, absolutely.
Amazing.
No
Okay.
cost to the residents.
So you just mentioned Angelo Onifree and
Yes.
the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office,
Yes.
and they're helping with the program
Yes,
and
they
stuff. Funding, these fire trucks are so expensive now. Have you ever toured an emergency vehicle? Sometimes they'll go to community events and stuff. How about you, Ulysses? I mean, sometimes they'll be there, and kind of it's more for the little kids to get on the fire truck and see what the fire engines are doing, but there's some high-tech stuff on there. I mean, those trucks, I think they come with like a $500,000 price tag sometimes.
With the way the economy is right now, you're talking about $750,000 now.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
$750,000 for a single fire engine. That's the one with the water in it.
Right.
Now you're talking about a ladder truck, probably well over $1 million, $1 to $1.5 million
One truck.
for one vehicle. Yes.
Wow.
So how many police cars can you buy with that? Whole lot.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
But we need this equipment to better protect the residents in town, because once the duty calls and the fires happen, we got to get on top of a roof, or we got to go in with enough water, enough equipment to rescue somebody or even save property. Definitely, that's exactly one of the tools, those tools that we need to do that.
So year in and year out, do you guys do equipment requisitions, and
Yes,
what is the state of the Trenton Fire Department as far as the current fire engines, ladder trucks, and what you guys have to utilize?
Well, we do have a dated fleet, but we're in the process of getting new apparatus. Just had a recent conversation with the administration, so that's something that should be coming within the first half of this year. The unfortunate part is that you can't buy a fire truck right off the lot, so it has to be created and manufactured. So usually the lead time is about maybe 18 months to 24 months.
Wow.
But it is stuff on order right now for the city. We should have a couple of new fire trucks within a matter of months. That's already taking place, but we should have even more within the next 18 months.
You know, especially in the wintertime, and I made the mistake, I guess a few months ago, of plugging my, it's like a mantelpiece, but it's got an electric fireplace inside the mantelpiece, and I plugged it into a power strip in order to power it up and heat my home, or supplement the oil heating that I have. Mm-hmm. And the thing like burnt the power strip.
Yes.
And I was like, oh no, is my heater broken? Is there something wrong? And after looking on Googled it and everything, it just seemed like I had it plugged into the wrong, like you don't want to plug your space heater into a power strip. And I don't know where I missed that on the warning label or something like that, but I bet you a lot of people make that mistake and they find melted plastic or,
Yes.
God forbid, it starts a fire.
Remember, electricity still generates heat. So with that kind of amperage that's pulling through that space heater, because it takes a lot of amps from electricity, and that power strip is only rated for so much amps to go through.
Yeah.
If you leave it too long, it's going to heat up, and eventually it will fail or cause a fire, or you see the plastic start melting. So when you have space heaters, you want to plug them directly into the wall, not into a power strip. If you're doing that, you probably risk yourself of having a fire, or that thing, or the power strip failing, that could cause a fire in your home. So be mindful of that.
Yeah, we got lucky. We got lucky, really.
You absolutely did.
So you plug that space heater into the wall.
Directly into the wall.
Are there issues sometimes with properties that don't have the right kind of wiring or that are kind of outdated and stuff? So you plug it into the wall, but because it's a space heater, it still could cause problems?
It can. A lot of older homes, probably 30s and 40s, might have knob and tube wiring, and it's not rated to like a lot of electronics that we have in the 2023 time. We have everything that plugs in. I mean, even your Wi-Fi device.
Yeah.
But if you have an older home, if you have the money to get your electric upgraded, I would definitely encourage that. But be mindful, if you do have old wiring, be mindful how much stuff that you're putting in that circuit, because it could damage. And this is old wiring, can get brittle after a while. You really don't know what's behind the walls. So, you best to come out and get an electrician or have public service assess your home.
All right, I think in my current place, all of my outlets have like the 3 prongs,
Yes.
right? But at some place I've lived at, the outlets only have like the two slots. And we'll come back in just a little bit. I want to ask Kenneth Douglas if that is more dangerous, if that's indicative that maybe you're looking at a house with older wiring. And we'll continue to talk a little bit more about fire prevention and safety this morning on Trenton Today. We'll get back to it in just a little bit on WBCB.
This is Merrill Reese reminding you that Haldeman Ford Subaru on Route 33 in Hamilton Township is more than just a great place to purchase a new Ford Subaru or pre-owned car or truck. Their collision and service centers services all makes and models and specializes in fleet service. Haldeman's Collision Center is renowned for their work. It's a state-of-the-art facility, all insurance accepted, free estimates and loaner cars available, and one of the friendliest staffs around. From small dents to major repairs on any make or model, it's Haldeman Ford Subaru Collision Center, Route 33 in Hamilton Township. They're good! Today's show is being brought to you by Angelo Onifrey in the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office as a public service to the community. Angelo Onifrey urges you to stay involved in your community and to also support the youth of our community. They are tomorrow's future leaders in Mercer County. This message brought to you by the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office, who hope you enjoyed today's show. WBCB is now on your FM dial at 107.3. Serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer counties since 1958, you can now listen to all of your BCB favorites crystal clear on 107.3 FM. A new age for WBCB on a new frequency, 107.3. Hi, Merrill Reese for Capital Health, reminding you that the former St. Francis Medical Center is now Capital Health East, and they still offer a 24/7 emergency department as well as outpatient medical clinic services. To enter the emergency department and outpatient clinic, please use the Burt Avenue entrance. Capital Health, proud to be a partner for better health in our state's capital, Trenton, New Jersey.
Welcome back to Trenton Today on WBCB. We're at Trenton Central High School talking with the Director of Fire and Emergency Services, Kenneth Douglas, this morning. And during the break, Ken, you were talking with Jess about the junior public safety program.
Yes.
And about there's kind of like a paramilitary element to it where you guys are doing push-ups and sit-ups. Did that intimidate you at all, Jess? I didn't feel a sense of intimidation.
A little bit. Because in JRTC, I used to be in JRTC in 10th grade, and they would do something where it would be like a cadet challenge. I think it's every Friday where they measure your skills. So, for example, you had to do a shuttle run, push-ups, and stuff like that. So, strength is not my strong suit. So,
when looking at firefighters, fire professionals,
Yes.
does it help to come from a military background?
Well, you can come from any background. Military, they're familiar with it just because they went through a boot camp. But it's nothing short of a police, fire, or even corrections academy. They're all paramilitary training when it comes down to their initial academies.
And so is there kind of a boot camp sense to getting indoctrinated into the Trenton Fire Department?
Well, it's a fire academy like any other public safety academy.
Gotcha.
Absolutely, and that's why we modeled our junior public safety academy similar to what we go through as firefighters when we go to the fire academy. So they do have to follow the rules and regulations, stand at attention, learn how to march, run in formation together, and if one person fails, and everybody work as a team. And we encourage them to think about the team aspect. As a firefighter, we actually encourage that because of the fact that when you go into a fire, you're not by yourself. You're with somebody or you're with a team of firefighters to affect the goal of putting the fire out. So you have to learn these concepts of teamwork within the academy, and that's what we bring these children for.
Can you tell us a little bit about the professional opportunities that are there for the right individual? It's got to be a good match. It's a unique type of profession and lifestyle. You guys are called on to be there at all different hours of the day. But what kind of salary would people expect? Are these opportunities specifically for residents who are within the greater Trenton area to be Trenton firefighters?
Yes, there's many opportunities in the fire fire service, and one, of course, being a firefighter. Minimum age is 18 to up to 35 years old. Trenton does have a residency requirement that you do have to be a Trenton resident to apply and to be considered for the job. The starting salary is at $38,100, and it goes all the way up to, I believe, just under $100,000 a year over maybe an 8-year period. So it's a pretty good salary, and the only thing you have to have is a high school diploma that you graduated from high school. If you have military in your background, you may qualify for Veterans Preference. With Veterans Preference, you would go to the top of the list as long as it's recognized by New Jersey Civil Service Commission. And there's many opportunities just being a firefighter. I mean, you could be in rescue, you could be in hazmat, you can be a technician, driver, of course, and it has the steps that you can be an officer, from a captain, battalion chief, and even a deputy chief of the department. So I call it the best kept secret. A lot of people really don't know about the fire service until one of their friends is like, "Well, I should have did that 20 years ago." Well, you should have did it 20 years ago. And I find more police officers transition to the fire department. So I think we got more cooler stuff. But in the fire service itself, you can be a fire inspector. That's not it's still a civil service position, but it's not a uniform position like going through the fire academy. That's a different type of training. This is something that actually we're looking to bring back in the city of Trenton, a fire inspection bureau, and also their administrative duties, also a clerk's office with other civilians. That is other opportunities that you can be in the fire department. So everything is just not a firefighter. You have fire inspectors, and you do have administrative positions in the fire department too.
And you guys get more expensive toys than the police department.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Have more fun.
Yes, they like having fun with our stuff.
You guys, those two departments do support each other, though, for an emergency, for an incident. Oftentimes, I see first responders often arriving almost simultaneously.
Yes, we do. We get dispatched from the same dispatch, which is the police department, and I find dispatch from there also. But a lot of things that we do together, even training, we do a lot of training together. The police director, Steve Wilson, and I have a great relationship, and we're collaborating not just on the Junior Public Safety Academy, but with some community initiatives with our community relations divisions also.
All right, how about Ulysses, Jess? Any other fire prevention tips? I'm thinking, I'll throw one out there. Don't play with matches. I think that might have been the first one I ever got. And, I don't know if there's a lot of matches floating around the world these days like there were back when I was a youth, but it still is important to start that fire prevention message with, like, the little kids. I mean, elementary schoolers and stuff like that, and even for parents to remind preschoolers that, fire comes with a danger, and it kind of sounds kind of silly, but don't play around with it. It can get out of hand. Don't play with matches, kids.
Yes, I mean, like I said, one of our biggest assets and one of our initiatives is fire safety education to the whole community. Now, in the recent times, you have a lot of families that have autistic family members in their home. And it's one of the things that I've done is that have the entire fire department trained on the autism. So right now, we're actually recognized as an autism training center in the city of Trenton, and we are actually going out and starting to get a focus group together with some parents so that we can better educate them and get some information on, okay, well, what is the dangers of your home with your child or your adult person, that your loved one in the house, so we can push this initiative citywide to get the best education as far as fire safety for those persons who take care of those loved ones with autism.
That's great. Kind of another thing that's big is expanding diversity, and whether or not that's with the diversity, recognizing that with the people that you're serving or the makeup of your department. We'll come back in just a little bit and talk about diversity within the Trenton Fire Department, and more with Fire Director Kenneth Douglas, and more stuff going on here at Trenton Central High School with Jess and Ulysses. It's Trenton Today on WBCB, and we'll get back to our discussion in just a little bit.
Today's show is being brought to you by Angelo Onifrey in the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office as a public service to the community. Angelo Onifrey urges you to stay involved in your community and to also support the youth of our community. They are tomorrow's future leaders in Mercer County. This message brought to you by the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office, who hope you enjoyed today's show.
Hey, this is Jonesy. Kick off your Thursday and Friday evenings in style. Join me for an eclectic freeform mix of the hits and beyond. It's a happening, a musical journey. It's the Glenn Jones radio experience right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, Thursday and Friday, 5 to 6 p.m., directly following the legendary Jerry Blavitt. Radio, the way it ought to be.
Hi, Merrill Reese for Capital Health, reminding you that the former St. Francis Medical Center is now Capital Health East, and they still offer a 24/7 emergency department as well as outpatient medical clinic services. To enter the emergency department and outpatient clinic, please use the Burt Avenue entrance. Capital Health, proud to be a partner for better health in our state's capital, Trenton, New Jersey. This is Merrill Reese reminding you that Haldeman Ford Subaru on Route 33 in Hamilton Township is more than just a great place to purchase a new Ford Subaru or pre-owned car or truck. Their collision and service centers services all makes and models and specializes in fleet service. Haldeman's Collision Center is renowned for their work. It's a state-of-the-art facility, all insurance accepted, free estimates and loaner cars available, and one of the friendliest staffs around. From small dents to major repairs on any make or model, it's Haldeman Ford Subaru Collision Center, Route 33 in Hamilton Township. They're good!
Welcome back to Trenton Today. Before we get back to our discussion with Fire Director Kenneth Douglas, I want to let you know that the New Jersey Attorney General is putting together a human trafficking initiative around the city of Trenton. And I bring it up just to pass along a toll-free number that was part of the article I read about this initiative to help stem the tide, stop human trafficking in the city of Trenton and in the state of New Jersey. If you know anything about human trafficking, you suspect something, you can call 888-373-7888. And again, the New Jersey Attorney General putting together a program to help prevent that within the city of Trenton. The toll-free number, 888-737-373. Let me try that again, 888-373-7888. We're talking with Fire Director Kenneth Douglas. And Jess, you were telling me a little bit about a scenario that happens at your house when there's a fire, or excuse me, a thunderstorm that goes on.
Yeah, so growing up, I was taught that when there's a thunderstorm, when you hear it or whatnot, turn off the TVs, don't use your phone when it's plugged into the outlet, and just basically just don't touch or use anything that's corded, and make sure like stuff is off.
You even go as far as like unplugging
Some
stuff from the walls.
Sometimes, yeah.
So I guess lightning could strike the house, and then you have all those outlets and wires, anything connected that can pull that electricity, not even, through the wires, through the walls, and even yourself. So it is good practice to do that, absolutely.
But even turn the TV off too?
I'd say turn the TV off, so you don't want your TV to blow up. If you get a bolt of lightning come to your house, it could possibly do that. But I'm not a scientist, I don't know everything, but it is something I was taught when I was a kid also. So I still follow it, and my daughter does too.
Yeah, a surge could come right through there and mess up your stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So diversity within the fire department in the city of Trenton, that's always, I think it's a challenge within any organization. But what types of initiatives are you guys doing? You mentioned the autism program, which I think is a great way to recognize the diversity of those that you serve in the community.
Absolutely. We have a responsibility to the community. I'm making sure the department is very aware and very prepared to handle everything and any person or any kind of danger in the community. The autism is a major thing, I think, within the last 10 to 15 years with a lot of communities, and I want to make sure that they're prepared how to recognize those persons with autism. I mean, I know the police department has some training on that, but the fire department equally as well, we need to have the same training, and that's one of the reasons why the entire department is certified right now as an autism training center.
Are there more women fighting fires today than 10 or 20 years ago, and more diversity within the Trenton Fire Department in that way?
We have more women in the fire department now. I know as a whole in the fire service, the percentage was very low. But over the last 20 years, the fire service has increased. Maybe 30 years have increased with women representation. Trenton Fire Department right now, we have 8 women in the fire department. And in some fire departments, we have captains and we have battalion chiefs and chiefs of the department, even directors that people sit as myself in my position. So the women representation has evolved to limit to no representation to actually running departments themselves.
Are there, we mentioned some of the challenges, the things that potential firefighters are going to have to do. Are there height, weight requirements, any of those types of things that people would make it difficult for someone to physically do the job?
Well, no, I'll just say be in the best shape as you can possibly can be in, because you'd be surprised somebody that may be seemingly overweight can be just as functional as somebody that looks like they're in shape. And somebody small may seem like they're in shape and they probably can't do one push-up. So it really comes down to just being as physically fit as you can in your own skin to make sure that you can pass the academy to become a Trenton firefighter.
All right, as you talk about those, Jess, you're pointing over here at your listeners. Do you think do you say you were a wrestler before?
No, not wrestler, football player.
A football player.
Yeah.
Well, to me, I think there's a similar, that when you go through training camp, and that's almost a paramilitary expectation that coaches have. At least that was my experience going through football camp.
It is. You go through bear crawls. You have to flip over using your whole body with your hands. You could say in football you would mostly use your hands, especially for punishment.
Right.
You get on the floor, you hold your feet. You would mostly do some military stuff in fire. What's the word again? Oh, I'm sorry. Fire department stuff as exercise, and it would be hard, but we would all fight through it.
Well, you were kind of maybe indicating that he would have a little trouble with. He went through the training camp, Jess.
No, no, because when he said somebody that can't, somebody, it could be in the fire department, not even do one push-up, he looked at me, and that's what I'm like, don't you even.
Because earlier, I forgot, I think you mentioned something about, or she mentioned that she couldn't even do one push-up, and then that's what brought back memories, but I'm like, anything's possible. You can do it.
So with our Junior Public Safety Academy, we had some cadets in here that they couldn't do one push-up. But about the time they ended the 6-7 week program, they can do a push-up. They probably can do more than that. So, they PT every day. So they got used to it now. We did start with a certain number, but we graduated a different number. But you'd be surprised how some of the kids that I saw in there, like, wow, I hope they last. You know what? They ended up lasting. We had it as almost equally as male and females that graduated the academy, which was great. And you probably have some girls there that probably like, what did I get myself into? You got this guy yelling at me, telling me to do push-ups, telling me to do more than my parents telling me to do. But they stuck through it, and they reaped the benefits of the reward of getting rewarded at the end of the academy with the certificates. And actually, it was a great newspaper article in the Trentonian that actually captured it. It was great.
First responders, popular subject when it comes to like TV and movies and everything. What do you see when you look at a TV show or something? You know what? They just always get this wrong. That's not what it's like. Or what do you say? Oh man, they nailed it. And
I'll say it's good for TV, and I'll leave it alone. A lot of people say, "Did you watch Chicago Fire?" I'm like, no. Like, I'm just me. Everybody's different, but it's good to see. And listen, anything that encourages anyone to become a firefighter, I'll say let's look at it and just come see if you want to join our world and be a public safety professional as a firefighter. Come on the red side. I guarantee you'll like it.
The other thing that I think of when I think about the experience of fire professionals is that there's a lot of camaraderie. That sometimes people just go to the fire station just to hang out with their friends. You guys will be watching the Eagles on Sunday over there?
Absolutely, they do. There's a lot of Eagles fans in Trenton Fire Department.
Yeah.
A lot of them. And
I bet there was quite a few Giants fans, I would think, too. I mean, we're kind of close to that dividing line.
Yes, you are. Unfortunately, I'm a Jets fan, but that's that's the other side of the green. And my helmet, I have a helmet in my office. It's a fire helmet with Jets on it right there. So every time they come to office, they see it.
That's a big Jets fan then.
Big Jets fans, absolutely. But yes, we do have a lot of Eagles fans in the fire department, and we have TVs big enough that everybody can come home, come to the firehouse and watch it. So the camaraderie is there. And you'd be surprised, a lot of the firefighters spend a lot more time in the firehouse than they do in their own homes. So it is a camaraderie, it's a brotherhood, sisterhood in the fire department. That's their home away from home, because they spend so much time here at work, but they spend so much time here together. So it becomes a second home to them.
Can you tell us a little bit more just about that facility? Like, there's places to sleep there. I mean, do guys have their own rooms? Are there bunk beds?
Yes.
Like, somewhere to get cleaned up and stuff? It is kind of like a home away from home.
It absolutely is. Yes, they have the kitchen area, and then they have a TV area where they watch their movies if it's not combined in one. They do have a laundry there. In addition, they do have exercise facilities, in the weight room and the gym, weights and treadmills, so forth and so on. And they do have a bunk area that they do sleep in at nighttime. And if they're forced to get a call in the middle of the night, you have to get up and go to the fire. Yes, absolutely. So it is a home away from home.
It's remarkable. My friend moved up to upper New York, and in the middle of the night, a propane tank caught on fire on his deck. The deck quickly caught on fire with like the rest of his home. Everything burned up in like a matter of minutes. And I would think that is something that people don't recognize, expect. I mean, obviously it caught them off guard, how quickly things can advance and get out of hand. I guess we just go back to our earlier tips of get out of the house, save yourself. I mean, they were all safe, their pets were safe, everything was cool, but all of their property was completely destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, you want to, life is first. Even on our profession, protect life then property. So I encourage people to do that, to follow that same mantra with themselves. If you have a fire in your home, then get away from the fire. You don't know what you're doing. So it's best to get away, get out, stay out, call 911, and let the professionals handle their job. You can always buy and get things back. It's replaceable. If you have insurance, then fine. If not, there's other organizations out there that can replace everything you got, and it will come at no cost. Especially the Red Cross, they're a big help in the city of Trenton.
I mean, you probably could give us a lot of details about how different things burn differently, and like propane or gas or oil, they just have almost an explosive nature to them. Once it hit that propane tank, it was a whole different thing. If somebody has a tank inside their home or those types of things, that can really get dangerous. You were mentioning earlier about generators and carbon dioxide and stuff like that. That's also something that can be deadly.
Carbon dioxide poison, yes, absolutely. So your heating system in your home emits these gases. That's why you have to make sure your ductwork is actually tight in your home, because like if it's a loose piece of ductwork in your home, that's the exhaust that goes up the chimney, you can emit carbon dioxide gases in your home, which is, of course, they call it the silent killer. And if you don't have a detector in the house, you would never suspect it to be there. And you want to make sure that you're not subjecting yourself to that you might not wake up in the morning. Many of the stories that we find in the wintertime, which is actually our focal point when it comes down to fire safety, that this happens too often in communities. That either you didn't get your heating system checked, or you don't have the proper detector to detect that something like that. And smoke kills fire, smoke kills people, but carbon monoxide too. And so you should definitely, beyond a smoke detector, you want to have a carbon monoxide detector in your home also.
So Jess and Ulysses, I've always had an electric burner in my stove. I don't know, do you guys have electric burners, gas? And I want to ask Ken kind of what the breakdown is in Trenton. But I don't know, to me, I think gas seems more dangerous. I've always had an electric burner. I'm used to that. It's familiar to me. But do you guys use gas or electric?
Yeah, my house we use gas, but I'm sorry. But you're right, gas is sometimes more dangerous, because let's say, for example, you turn the stove on, but what if I accidentally somebody just comes in by their hand, they turn it back on. They don't fully turn it on, but the gas starts to leak out.
Yeah.
And it is actually bad. And when I noticed with electric, aren't the buttons like up on the stove?
Usually, yeah. Yeah, they're like towards the
so
back.
you could say it's less dangerous. Like, not a random kid is gonna go get up and go press the buttons.
It feels less dangerous to me. I mean, there's probably dangers with electric ranges just as there are with gas. What about you, Jess?
Gas as well.
Yeah, is that typical throughout the city of Trenton?
I can't say what is and what isn't typical, but I'm sure a majority of the homes have gas, unless it's conversion. Somebody wanted electric stove.
Now, do you think that gas is a little bit more? It has that open flame. Maybe that's kind of what.
The challenge with gas is the fact that you make sure that when you turn the pilot on, that actually is lit, opposed to gas fumes in the house. And next you smell it in the house and it catches on something else. You probably can have an explosion. And I've seen that many a times happen. So you got to be careful. And even with the electric stoves, I mean, you have small children, you can see it at our height, but imagine a kid putting their hand on top of the stove and not seeing that red circle and then they'll get themselves burned.
Right.
So you have to be equally cautious of both the gas and electric stove.
Big thanks to Kenneth Douglas for joining us today for Trenton Today. Really appreciate it. Next week we were talking before the show about having some Trenton Central students who are involved in the wrestling program, in a lot of different winter activities, the swim team, the boys and girls wrestling team, to come on and join us, share their experience with us in those endeavors. I think we're going to do that next week on Trenton Today. I hope that's the case. We'll see if we can coordinate all those efforts. Big thanks to Mr. Francis and Mr. Caniglio for helping to make all that stuff happen and produce our show here at Trenton Central High School. So I think that's what we're going to try to do next week. In the meantime, though, Ulysses and Jess, what's going on with you guys on campus? Any upcoming events, activities, clubs that you're involved in, stuff going on here within the communications department that you guys might be involved in?
Well, as we all know, Jess, why don't you go first?
Martin, you go first.
You have a lot of programs that you're in, which I'm actually glad that you are. So tell us about you.
Well, I'd say the first thing, in terms of sports, I'm not in any sports, but our current stats are, I think, 16-1. Okay, and 16-1, and then we have this varsity game this Friday at 5:30. So make sure, support the Tornadoes. Come on out.
So is that the boys basketball team?
Yes.
16-1?
16-1.
All right.
We're going
Pretty.
against Ewing, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
It's our
think so.
rivals. Ewing's our rival, so make sure you come out to the game, support.
And again, with Jess's help and Mr. Francis, you guys help us to produce the games on site when WBCB Sports is here on campus at Tornado Alley, and so that's been fun.
Yeah.
What else is going on, Ulysses? We'll put you on the spot now.
Ha.
Yeah, I'm on the spot. Okay, so right now I'm not in no clubs or anything, but since spring sports are coming up, I'm actually interested in joining lacrosse, which caught my attention.
We have a lacrosse team?
We're about to have a lacrosse team.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I did not know
starting
that.
February. And as one of our teachers here, Mr. Yaris, he's having another year, a great year of a cancer dodgeball tournament to raise up the money. So I would also like to interest in joining that. We joined it last year. It was very fun. I advise students to come out, support, have fun, enjoy the show, enjoy the game, and just to support, have fun. That's it.
That's great. That's really good stuff. So is that in the spring? You guys do a dodgeball tournament, a fundraiser?
Yeah, it's March
23rd.
Yeah,
March 23rd.
March 23rd.
March 23rd. Well, people can check that out, right? And make donations, show up, enjoy the fun. Sounds good. Thank you guys for being a part of the show today. Appreciate it. Thanks to all of our support staff, the camera people, Brianne O'Neill, our video engineer, and thanks to you for being with us as well. Appreciate it. Trenton Today on WBCB will get together next month back here at Trenton Central High School. And again, big thanks to Fire Director Kenneth Douglas for giving us some time today on the show. And who knows, maybe Mayor Gussiora will return and join us next time. Today's show made possible by Capital Health System, by the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office and Angelo Onofri's office. And thanks also to Haldeman Ford Subaru, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow. And we'll be back here next month for more Trenton Today on WBCB.